We store our photos, run our businesses, and communicate entirely through something we casually call the cloud. But when you drop below the surface, that cloud is actually a highly physical web. It's a network of 1.5 million kilometers of glass and steel cables resting on the ocean floor, most of them no thicker than a garden hose. The global economy balances on these narrow tubes. They carry 99% of all intercontinental data traffic and $10 trillion in financial transfers every single day. That density makes the network a fragile target. In March 2024, Houthi militants fired a missile at a commercial cargo ship called the Rubimar in the Red Sea. The vessel took a direct hit and immediately began taking on water. But the most significant damage happened beneath the waves. As the Rubimar sank, its crew dropped the anchor to stabilize the ship. Instead, the vessel kept drifting out of control, dragging tons of iron across the seabed and severing 3 vital telecommunications cables. This incident showed that the world's digital lifelines are poorly defended. These cables were laid with a focus on peacetime efficiency, optimizing for the shortest routes and lowest costs, leaving them exposed to the crossfire of regional conflicts. The Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz are now identified as global digital chokepoints. These are crowded maritime corridors where international shipping lanes physically overlap with tightly bundled data cables. Adversaries are beginning to treat this infrastructure as a military objective. Recently, Iranian-linked media outlets have published maps of undersea cables and regional data centers, framing these commercial assets as strategic pressure points. Attacking these lines offers a degree of deniability. Since 70% of cable faults are caused by fishing nets and dragging anchors, an adversary can use a commercial vessel to mask intentional sabotage, operating in the gap between a maritime accident and an act of war. Some nations are developing more direct methods. Russia's Yantar research ship is capable of deploying deep-diving drones equipped with robotic arms, which have been spotted operating directly above transatlantic cable routes. The ocean floor is becoming a theater of asymmetric competition. Physical attacks on seabed infrastructure are inexpensive to execute, difficult to attribute, and capable of causing massive economic disruption. But cutting a cable doesn't always require a drone or an anchor. The same level of disruption can be achieved remotely using software. Because maintaining deep-sea infrastructure is expensive, telecommunications companies rely on automated remote network management systems. This allows them to monitor lines and diagnose faults without sending a ship into the water for every minor issue. This creates a digital backdoor through standard internet protocols. Cyber attackers can infiltrate management software from thousands of miles away, bypassing coastal landing station firewalls. Once inside, they can spy on data in transit, hold the network for ransom, or shut the line down entirely. The virtual integration of this hardware means the security of the global internet often depends on the most exposed automated software in the system. When a cable is disabled, the world faces a logistical bottleneck. There are only 63 specialized repair vessels like this one in the entire world. The repair process is slow and stationary. A ship must remain in a fixed position for days or weeks while crews retrieve the damaged cable ends from the deep ocean and meticulously splice the glass fibers back together. Conducting these repairs in active conflict zones is nearly impossible. Repair vessels are unarmed and defenseless, making them easy targets for the explosive drone boats and fast attack craft that patrol these waters. This turns a localized break into a systemic crisis. If a regional conflict blocks repair ships from accessing the site, a single severed cable can lead to a prolonged digital blackout. To avoid this geopolitical instability, major technology companies are moving away from public infrastructure and building their own private networks. Meta's Waterworth project is a massive, privately owned cable system designed to bypass hotspots like the Red Sea entirely. By connecting the United States directly to markets in the Southern Hemisphere, Meta is effectively building its own private internet. This marks a shift in how the world stays connected. Global data traffic is moving out of the hands of neutral international consortiums and into the private control of a few Silicon Valley firms attempting to outpace geopolitical risk. Governments are responding to this loss of control with a sense of urgency. The U.S. Strategic Subsea Cables Act of 2026 represents a push to regulate these shifting assets. Lawmakers are aggressively cataloging international sabotage incidents, from the Baltic Sea to the Taiwan Strait, to understand the threat's true scale. The competition for influence has moved from the speed of the connection to the control of the seabed itself. Deep-sea access, the ability to reach, maintain, or destroy infrastructure at extreme depths, is becoming a primary metric of national power. As cables become private assets and potential military targets, the Internet is losing its status as a neutral global commons. If a future conflict erupts, it may not begin with a visible explosion, but with a silent snap in the dark of the abyss.